Isn't it funny though? Interesting segue. How you met James through rugby.
Yeah.
And that's how you and I met. When you turned up as a fresh-faced little lamb.
Very, very good at this podcasting stuff, aren't you?
Down at, are we allowed to? It's because it's embarrassing. Let's be honest. No, it's not embarrassing. Don't put that in. Because there are people still down A&F. You never know that might hear it. But Aldershot and Fleet, they're not up the leagues, are they? And let's be honest, I was, suited to me because I'm not a great player. I know James and yourself will always be humble and say, well, no, we're not the best players, but I'm genuinely not a good player. I really like. Are we allowed to name people?
Yeah, do what you like, mate.
So, Risey, are you allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Will he get upset?
No, it's your mate.
Yeah.
So
Risey did a meme where he took a picture of me and put it on a horse.
Yeah.
And it's holding its hat, like it's holding its hooves out, like that. And he went,
"Give me that picture. Give me that picture.
That's you. Hooves for hands, and as long as there's a farrier on call, like I'll be all right, sort of thing. So I was really bad. I actually think I've got a bit better as I sorted out the weight and the strength and the fitness, and actually learned the rules of the game. But anyway, that's how we met down Aldershot and Fleet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think I kept calling you Conrad or Connor.
You kept calling me Callum.
Callum.
It was Callum, and I get that a lot anyway. Because even if I introduce myself, I say, "Oh, Cameron," and it's not the most common name around here.
What, Cameron?
Yeah. It's not a name that you hear regularly, I don't feel, like when you're meeting people.
No, I mean, the Prime Minister was David Cameron.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he introduced himself as David.
Cameron. So,
yeah, but he wouldn't say, "Hi, I'm David Cameron," when he's introducing himself to his friends.
Prime Minister.
Yeah. Mr. Cameron. But, but you knew that my name was Cameron.
I did it to wind you up.
Yeah, you did it just to try and that was when that was the first rugby club I ever played for. So I'd never played rugby before then. I think it was, when was it? Fuck me. I would have been 19, I think. 20.
Yeah.
And I'd come down there, and just to make it very, very clear, like you say, Aldershot and Fleet are a terrible, terrible level of rugby. And all respect to them, wonderful people.
But I'm going to shout them out now because they're on the up. They're rebuilding.
Right. I've heard this maybe 5 or 6 times. And I played for them for 2 years.
But genuinely, so I think when we played for them, it was when we got promoted out of Hampshire 2 into Hampshire 1.
Yeah.
Then when we went down to New Milton and District and played New Milton and District, won on the first game of the season in Hampshire 1. We won the first half away to New Milton and District. Yeah. We're buzzing, thinking, we can do this. Then the second half, we literally got completely destroyed.
Yeah, just crumbled.
Yeah, fell apart. And we ended up losing like 67-20, something like that. And then the rest of the season, we lost every game and got pumped straight back down to Hampshire 2. And it was that Hampshire 2 was the beginning of the end. Yeah. And that's when, at the end of that season, I left. Initially to go to Farnham, but ended up not going to Farnham, and I didn't play in the end. I ended up doing yoga for 3 years.
Yeah, you did. You got
went very yogi.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that though. That helped with my mental problems.
But you're that person, aren't you? When you get your head onto something, that's it. You're doing it, and you get fucking well involved.
Yeah,
and that's where all this fucking AG1 stuff comes in, and you'll buy all the fucking gear, and you'll be like, no, I practice this for this many hours, and I have to do it for X amount of time, and I have to reach this position. Like you're quite a focused character when you get your mind to something.
Yeah, I think that's largely to do with the, and it's frustrating to say it, but because it seems that everyone's saying it these days, but it's the whole ADHD business.
Oh, you stink of it.
Yeah,
you can literally smell it coming out of your pores.
Definitely on the spectrum. I think it was a big problem in the early days in the 80s growing up. My parents didn't know what to do with me. My mum refused. She knew there was something up with me, but she refused to take me for a diagnosis. She's told me this later. She didn't obviously talk to me when I'm that age, but later on she explained, I didn't want you to be drugged. She's Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
Right, so she don't drink, she don't do anything. She's literally, I didn't want you to be drugged.
Yeah.
Shout out to Celtic, by the way, on that Roman Catholic.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm wearing
he's done that to literally just to piss me off.
I'm wearing Celtic shorts.
Yeah. I don't know why you've got them.
I went up to. We go up quite often. Not to the football, but
No, you got your dad's Scottish, isn't it?
no, my mum. I
Sorry.
said he's from Portsmouth. We'll get on to him if you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they didn't know what to do, and I spent years having like childminders saying, "No, can't have him, can't have him, can't have him." Like within 2 days, the childminders are like, "No, we're not having him." And my mum would always say, she was in front of me, would say, I don't understand. What did you do wrong? I was like, I don't know. We were all doing it together. I was just playing with all the other kids. You don't know it as a kid.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I was clearly difficult, and I drove my mum.
But you're a difficult adult. Yeah, I mean, I say difficult adult. Because of, I guess, your ADHD. You're quite. You're hard to control. Not control is probably the wrong word again, or direct maybe. Like because in the rugby world, as we say, that's how we met and how we know each other. When you're in the zone, you're in the zone. So when it's like you want to be serious and everyone else is having a joke, you get a bit grumpy. You used to get a bit grumpy because you like you say, you take things quite seriously. And when you were playing rugby and you were getting ready for the game and you were like, getting out there, I remember you used to be quite anxious about before games.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, and it was, and if someone was having a joke about it, you didn't really like that. And then if we then, sort of, when we're going out somewhere or, the group wants to go one way, you don't want to, arguably a bit sulky, could be a bit sulky, just as an adult. Do you agree with that, or you wouldn't agree with that?
I'm not going to agree with that, but then I'm just going to think about.
But then you're going to sound like I'm just proving my point right.
Yeah, and then I'll just think about what the wife would say, and she would say, "That's exactly what you are."
Yeah,
and she says it quite often these days. Why are you so miserable? I was like, I'm not miserable.
Well, it's not miserable. You just, if it's not kind of aligned right with the way that you want to do things, you find it quite frustrating.
So if I go down the gym, I do my gym, and like go into the spa. It's the same every time. I go in the pool, at 7:40 I get out of the pool, I go into the sauna. It's 20 minutes in the sauna, it's 5 minutes in the plunge, and then it's another 5 minutes in the sauna, shower, go home. And it's that every time.
Yeah.
It's that every time.
Yeah.
And so that's what.
But we used to have that as well. When you and I used to gym together.
It was always the
same. It was always the same. And if we tried to deviate from that plan, it would be.
Well, you would deviate.
Regularly.
I would let you do what you. And that's the thing. I'm not there to say.
We were supposed to be training together, and you would turn up to the session. Right then, 10 times 100 then.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let's not, because there's absolutely no need to do 1, that many squats, and 2, when we did it 2 days ago. We don't need to do it again. And then you'd get a little bit sulky from that. Because you've had it in your head.
Because I've mentally prepared for it all day.
But that's obviously part of
the thing. Yeah, change. I don't do change particularly well. I definitely don't do it well at work. And actually, as I've grown older and I've moved away from sort of the hyperactive from the ADHD, which clearly I probably still have, it has unfortunately ruminated into other things like OCD and anxiety disorders, and I had to go and speak to someone. And the work I've done with CBT therapist has really helped with that. In more than anything, just identifying that it's a thing. And
I think that's probably the most key factor for a lot of people, is just actually being able to say, fucking makes sense now. I've got something that I can refer to try and help me with it. Yeah. Because I now know where it's come from. Yeah. Or actually what it is. And that is a big thing. Yeah. That is a big thing. You say you've struggled with that literally forever. Have you had moments where it's like peaked and troughed and all that?
So the ADHD, it was from birth. The anxiety disorder and the OCD didn't come until I quit the booze.
Really? So that boozing was kind of like masking all that?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think that happens to a lot of people, huh?
Yeah. I'll be 10 years. So it'll be 10 years this August.
Sober?
Yeah, not touched it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember giving you fucking hounders for it.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Because they don't believe it. When you are, I wasn't an alcoholic, but I was a traditional English Friday, Saturday binger. Not going to stop. You got those people, haven't you? You got those mates, and I was one of them. The switch in the head. The second it touches your lips, that's it. You're on it until you're done. Yeah. It's not 1 or 2 with a meal. It's 10, 11, 12 until you're
blotto,
completely blottoed.
Yeah.
And wake up the next morning and your wife's looking at you like, you idiot. And you go, oh, what have I done?
Yeah.
And she tells you, you did this or you did that.
That is the conversation no one wants to have.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I
And you don't remember it, so they can tell you anything, you have to believe them.
Yeah. Anxiety, they call that, I believe.
Right, yeah.
It's a big part of rugby culture as well. Especially at like the grassroots level. That is kind of, it's arguably at that level, it's not so much about the rugby, it's more about kind of the social, and part of that social, like the belonging to a club and, you know, having your teammates as your friends and that sort of thing, and then having the social drinking side of it. It's a massive thing because we used to do it pretty much every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend would be turn up, play a game of rugby, not very well, probably lose, get really muddy, really cold, have a hot shower in the changing rooms and think about
They weren't always hot.
Yeah, they weren't always hot. No, they weren't always hot. Fuck, it was horrible playing grassroots rugby.
It was. But even at, my cousin's husband played for Canterbury and they were in that one side.
Yeah.
And even he would say that, you know, my drinking club has a rugby problem, you know.
Yeah.
So even at that level it was a large part of it.
I don't know where that comes from. Really.
No idea.
But it is massive and it's prominent evidently through every rugby. You even see fucking internationals getting into it, but at a lower level, it's most definitely it was the highlight of the weekend was having the social after, rather than the actual rugby itself, wasn't it?
Yeah, fully.
And it's quite an interesting sort of culture anyway, isn't it? Rugby, really. I'd say it was quite good fun because when I first came to the club, I didn't know anyone, didn't know how to play rugby. Maybe just naturally quite athletic. So I managed to get...
Well, you're 6'3" and 100 kilos with not much fat on you, so you're scary to oppos.
Yeah, we move about a bit.
Can catch.
I can pass.
At that level, you know, you're like Sonny Bill. So, not a problem.
But I kind of managed to kind of slot in with what was called the clique.
Yeah, the clique.
The clique. Yeah, the clique. Which you were sort of a founding member of. Yeah.
I don't know why, and that was nothing to do with my ability on the pitch. No. It was just, when I was drunk, I could be quite entertaining, and I think that was.
You were very entertaining as a drunk man.
That's what
as a drunk man. Where did it come from? Why did you get into rugby?
My father-in-law. I think it was. So, I started. I was rubbish at sport at school. I was a chubby little kid,
I can tell.
And the ADHD didn't help. So I was really bad at sport at school. Other than cricket, I was a good bowler. I could bowl, and I loved cricket.
Yeah, to be fair, we've been down the nets a few times. You're pretty handy at cricket.
Yeah, I can send it now, and I'm coaching now. I coach rugby and cricket for the lad. But no, what happened was. It was the drumming. So drumming from late teens to early 30s was absolutely what I was hell-bent on doing. I want to be a professional metal drummer. But also, under the guidance of my parents, thankfully, they're like, you've got to have a backup plan. You've got to be able to pay your bills. Crikey. This could be a long way of answering your question, how I got into rugby.
So we got time.
But it probably needs to go back to the start, which was drumming was the number one for me. I was quite good at school until about year 10. Predicted A's, but then drumming.
Really?
Yeah, I was predicted A's.
Okay.
And then...
That sounds really insulting. I don't mean to insult.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Got a PhD now, so
yeah,
I can throw it back at you.
Yeah, Dr. Gray.
Yeah. But I got introduced to Guns N' Roses. This must have been 92, 93.
Yeah, proper rock and roll.
Yeah. So like Guns N' Roses was still big. It was around the Use Illusion tour. I had a video of their gig in Paris. Matt Sorum, the drummer, doing a drum solo, and I was just that was it. We talk about ADHD and hyperfocus. That was it.
Yeah.
I was hyperfocused on that. Drumming was it. Nothing else mattered. So, you know, attention deficit is to things that you're not interested in, but the one thing that you then do kind of hyperfocus and fixate on, and drums was it. So after lots of pressure, got a guitar originally when I was 11, and tried that. But yeah, it wasn't until my 15th birthday my parents bought me a drum kit, and probably the beginning of the end for academia, or the beginning of the hiatus, shall we say.
Oh, that's nice.
Started the drumming, and just school. Forgot about it. Didn't care. Didn't want to do it. Wanted to drum, and that was it. That was it all the way through. And I wanted to be the fastest metal drummer that ever lived, and just worked on that. But parents were like, "Nah, you got to work. You're either in college, in a job, or you leave this house." And the threat of leaving the house was, I better do something. So I bummed around, did a couple of really, really terrible jobs.
This is alongside the drumming, like you're still trying to make it as a drummer at this point, or you just enjoy playing the fucking drums?
So I wasn't in a band, so like the plan was really, really sort of...
It's quite loose, that. It's not so much of a plan.
Yeah, the blueprint was probably a bit of paper and a pencil, and it's like...
Drums are good.
Yeah, drums are good. I like to play, and I have a drum kit. Tick, tick, tick. What's next? There's a lot of things.
World domination.
Yeah. World domination and all the stuff in the middle. It'll figure itself out, but it didn't. And the ADHD. I was a bit of a nutty kid, bit of a tearaway. Got in trouble a lot in the town. Mucking around in your peer group.
Yeah, happens. Everyone does it.
Bumming around. Tried college. Gave up A-levels after 3 weeks. Bummed around the rest of that year, getting shouted at by the parents. Went back to college the next year, same college, the sixth form. Stuck it for 3 months this time.
Nice. Improvement.
And then dropped out again because it just wasn't for me. It was not for me. By that time, I must have been 18.
Yeah. And you still got all part-time jobs whilst you're doing all this?
No. Just literally
full bumming.
Full bumming.
Okay.
Like, what did I did a few jobs. Like I worked on a building site for a week, washing down the tyres of the trucks as they went out of the site. I worked at the place my mum did, like a mortgage lender's place, like just filing. And that was soul destroying. It killed me. I did that for a while actually. I must have done that for a few months, but no. Then just like no.
Yeah.
And then this is in the day where we had a youth club in Fleet. It's called The Point. And it's still there, The Point. I don't know what they do. I've seen kids in there playing music, but I don't think it's like a youth club the way it used to be. It might be. There was a job. They had a job board, and there was a job card saying electrician's mate. So I phoned them up and they went, come down. So I went down and met them. It was on a building site near Redfields, where they were doing a new building plot. And I was on there for a couple of months. Young, impressionable 18-year-old lad with all these older geezers. 2 of them have been in prison. Got all their stories about being in prison, smoking weed, playing cards. And it was just like, this is me. This is what I could do.
That's exactly the same story as me.
Really?
When I left school at 16, went and started my apprenticeship, Chippy's apprenticeship, went onto site with boys that were like 10 years older than me, so not that far out of reach, so similar enough. Very impressionable. And it was, again, all of that, all these different stories and all these...
Yeah, plus you're getting cash.
Yeah.
You're getting paid money.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, for me, it was good money. And I did that for about, a month, 2 months, and then my parents went away to America for 2 weeks, and I had a free house. So the free house meant that it was just party around my time, and I didn't go to work. So then after the 2 weeks, when my parents came back, I went down to the building site, see the guy, and I probably could have tried a bit harder. To say let's come back, but I went, I guess that's it, is it? And he went, if that's your attitude,
it is. Swing your hook.
But it lit the spark, Figuratively speaking, that's a terrible pun.
Hit the dum.
Yeah, bosh. And then I wrote to the local electrical firm saying, I've done this. I really enjoyed it. I'd really love an apprenticeship if that's all right. And they took me in around April, and I did labouring for them. You know, they employed me and then put me in. But this is back in the day when you could, like, you know, so you could do these sorts of things with apprentices. Like, you know, you've got a screw box, just throw it out. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the screw box, but just throw it up on the floor, go sort that out. Brilliant. Cheers. all the ferrules, all the different colour, you know, ferrules and crimps, you know, there's nothing wrong with them. Scatter them out, sort them out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but
and lots of stuff like that as well. To be fair, we used to have it because when I was an apprenticeship, there was another apprentice there as well, and they used to just say stuff like, "I'll restack that timber," and it is just come off the truck, and it was just, you know, we haven't got anything for you to do right now, so just go and do that, and then when you're finished, you kick a bucket over and you just clean that lot up and all this sort of stuff. So you just.
But it's it, and like I think to this day, now I think, crikey, we can't even do that sort of stuff. But then I hear stories of what my dad used to do. My dad's from the dockyards in Portsmouth. Yeah, so he did his apprenticeship in the 60s in the dockyards in Portsmouth. And he told me a story, I'll never forget it. There was this lippy lad, like one of the new intake of apprentices, proper chopsy. Yeah, a bit like you, I guess. And one lunchtime, they got him and they put him in a Hessian sack. And got like a chain block and tackle. So it's a dockyard, so they're lifting big bits of kit high up into like the gantries, like high up. So what they did, they got this chain block and tackle. They tied him into his Hessian bag so he couldn't see anything, and they attached him to the hook of this Hessian bag, and they winched and they went clink clink with the chain link. So he came off the ground. So now he feels that he's floating. What they were doing, rather than raising him up, what they were doing is that they were just making the chain pull, but they were taking steps back, and they're walking backwards. So he's feeling himself bumping, hearing their voices getting further and further away. He's like a foot above the ground, and they're 25, 30 foot away, and they go, right, you little so and so. No more chops for you, and they pulled it, and he just went bosh. My dad said, I don't know how true this is, but probably I don't know. He said, I've never seen a man's hair turn white so quickly when they unlocked the bag. He came out, apparently his hair had gone white, but my dad's seen all sorts of stuff. Like I thought we'd get into this. I did say when you did your one with your dad, I went, I really like that one because I like those old boy stories, and. My old man, he wouldn't be very good at sitting on a sofa and telling them. Yeah, I've collected memories of the stories he's told me, and I'll give you one more of the old man. This is a funny one to get us back into the right. I think I'm not sure if it was him or it was someone else. I think it was one of the other lads. It was his stag do, and there's this thing called blue, and it stains. It's not coming out. And
what is it though? Like a paint?
Something for doing stuff on the. I couldn't tell you, but
dockyard work.
It's dockyard work, and it's this product, and it stains everything blue. And they blue rubbed him around his gentleman's region and up his bum crack, so he had a blue cock and balls. He couldn't get out.
Something blue for your wedding day, though, I guess. Yeah, ticked off.
I didn't think of that actually. That's quite good. I'm sure he hadn't, but yeah, apparently they completely blued him up.
Oh, that's not funny.
And it wasn't coming out.
That is a long time. If that's
I think you can't get it out. It literally comes out when the skin regenerates.
No matter how much exfoliating you do.
Yeah. One more, silver nitrate. So apparently silver nitrate, they had that in the dockyard as well. Apparently that's the strongest laxative known to man. In fact, it's not actually a laxative. It's not, but I think someone worked it out that if you put 2 drops in a cup of tea, that you won't make it to the toilet. So they were pranks like that sort of thing. I could give you so many stories about it.
I'm going to give one about my little site days. You know, when I was saying about like impressionable teenager stuff. I worked with these 2 bricklayers, and I won't name them in case they come after me, but they are a certain type of person's gentleman.
What, bricklayers?
Bricklayers,
Yeah.
yes. Like, as a trade, especially, this was like the noughties, I think I started my apprenticeship 2008. These two fellas were funny fellas, and they were known to be funny fellas. Like, they were telling some stories about some horrific stuff they'd done.
Yeah.
And they were bad guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In the sense, like, I think one of them had been to prison. In fact, to be fair, they probably both had. And one went to go and visit the other in prison.
All right. That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. And I think it was a pretty high category prison anyway, out of, ABC and whatever. And he handed him this little tiny nugget and said to him, I've got something for you. You're going to have to hide it, but, here you go. It's a little treat.
Yeah.
And he gives him this little ball under the table or whatever. And what he's done is he's got a little ball of tin foil. So he's wrapped it up in tin foil.
Yeah.
Because he's like, they won't be able to smell it through tin foil. It was what he thought was a little bit of weed.
Right.
So give him this little bit of weed. And he wrapped it up in tin foil. He's like, fucking tin foil, you bastard. How am I meant to hide that if it's in fucking tin foil? So he had to put up his crack, right, to hide it. Puts it up there, tin foil, just walk into this cell.
Yeah.
Squeezing real hard. Horrible little bastard, because that's the type of people they were. Gets back to his cell and he says to his cellmate, my mate's given us a little gift. We've got a right little treat for the evening. Unwrapped this little tinfoil and it's Brussels sprout leaves.
Really?
He made an arsehole a tinfoil pack for some Brussels sprout leaves.
Just
for fuck with him.
Just for jokes.
Just for fuck with him because he's in prison and he's a prick. These are the sort. He once took matey sandwiches. Matey that we used to work with used to have cheese and Marmite sandwiches every single fucking day.
Yeah.
He took his sandwiches out of his lunchbox, opened his sandwiches up, painted black paint on the Marmite side, put them back together, and then just let it in there. And when he went to go and eat his sandwiches, he started laughing at him.
Nice.
I've fucking painted your sandwiches. Sort of shit happens all the fucking time.
Yeah, I think it probably still does on building sites. I think because I've moved away from it, I don't see it as much. But it was good. But I know I was trying to get somewhere in telling to do with rugby, and we've gone all the way back to that. Anyway, got the apprenticeship and did that. So worked through the apprenticeship, bosh, sparking. Crikey, I'm trying to think where we were originally going. The drumming. That was it. Parents going to kick me out. You need a career.
You went found Sparky one time, then you went back and
got it.
Yeah.
Nailed the apprenticeship. Found luckily the ADHD locked onto it. So good. I was really good in my exams. I got straight distinctions in my apprenticeship, and was one of the highest passing out that they'd ever seen at the college. So yeah, passed, was a Sparky, and worked as an electrician for 6. Crikey, I started my apprenticeship 2000, finished 2004.
Details don't matter.
Details don't matter. Ended up at Terminal 5 in 2006, and that's when I met Mrs. G.
Yeah.
Punching above my weight with that one, but she came onto me. I will put that one out there on record. I was absolutely 3 sheets to the wind.
Yeah. Was that after a gig?
No, it was Electric Ballroom. It's in a place that they do gigs, but it was Electric Ballroom, so it was a heavy metal club.
Right, okay.
In Camden. I was blotted, sat down on the floor.
Sorry, I thought, was it you had done a show?
No.
Ah, sorry.
She didn't know I was in a band at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was up there. Drunk. Passed out, kind of like this on the... Her words were, I like the look of you. You had tattoos and you were big, as in, 6 foot, and had a bit of weight on your arm.
Bit of a lump.
Bit of a lump.
Back in the
So she talked to me, and I got a number anyway. And that was that. Where were we going? What am I talking about?
He's just talking, mate. That's the whole point of it. That's exactly what we want. It's just fucking conversation, mate.
I know that I've gone off on a tangent to explain something
you were talking about
rugby.
the drumming, and then you were saying about how you got into the electrics. You managed.
How did you get into rugby? That was it.
That was the question about.
How did I get into rugby?
25 minutes ago.
25 minutes. How did you get into rugby? Right. Yes. Okay. So the drumming.
Yeah.
It was so heavy metal drumming was. So I've got my career. So I've sorted that out with the parents. Parents are happy. Right. You're doing your sparky and things. So we're happy with that. So and we like the fact that you got something to focus on, drumming, and you're keeping out of trouble. So and you're giving us less crap, because I gave them a lot of crap when I was young.
Yeah.
As an ADHD kid, I don't know how they didn't send me away. They really should have sent me away. I owe everything to my parents. I really do.
That's cute.
For them sticking with me. So they stuck with me and was doing drumming. But I felt like, because it was heavy metal drumming, I wanted to be fast. And YouTube and stuff like that, where you got all these amazing, talented people doing videos on what you need to do. Without getting into like the detail of it, heavy metal drummers going really, big part of it's going really, really fast on the bass drums.
Yeah.
Double bass drums, making that machine gun sound. And I didn't know that actually a lot of it is in ankle technique and stuff like that. I just thought it was,
tapping your foot really hard.
Yeah, hip flexors.
Yeah.
And actually, so I figured I've got to get fitter, I've got to get faster so I can drum faster. And I went into boxing. I'd started doing gym stuff for vanity, 18, 19, but it didn't really stick within it or have any program. But yeah, I got into kickboxing. I really enjoyed that, so stuck with that for about 5 years until the point when, and the club went away from the kickboxing and became more about boxing.
Yeah.
And then he was linked with a club up in Stevenage where they were doing shows.
Yeah, like inter club fights.
Yeah, in club fights, in clubs. I did a inter club fight. No, what do they call it? It wasn't an inter club. Maybe it was an inter club. But it was it wasn't a genuine fight.
Yeah, it wasn't like coming out of the ring to a crowd.
There was a crowd, but it was in a boxing club, so people come to see.
Okay.
There were a load of
not like a white collar or an unlicensed.
No. Just like it was like one down from that. Yeah, just a couple of club fighters meeting up to do 3 3s.
Yeah,
I think they were 3 2s even.
Details.
Yeah, and don't care about details.
No.
Right. And this lad who I was billed to fight had broken my nose previously sparring. Good lad. Yeah. He's actually a scaffolder now. You should see him. The last time I saw him down at gym, he was benching 220 kilos.
Jesus wept.
Yeah, Jesus wept. I'm not going to name it, so it doesn't matter, and he admitted it. It was Mexican supplements all day long.
Yeah.
220 kgs.
Yeah.
But he was a powerful lad, and he had broken my nose in the sparring match. And his name was like, "You're fighting him," and I was like, so for 6 weeks,
blood just drains out.
Yeah, it does. But it's weird. Like the second you get a name and you're having a fight, I couldn't deal with it. I was mentally weak at dealing with having a fight. Sparring, if I knew I was sparring, I'd be a bit jittery.
Yeah.
If I get to the club for a training session and then all of a sudden, right, we're sparring, lads. Sweat.
Fine. No.
Yeah, because there's no time for you to be apprehensive with it. But that fight, that's 6 weeks. Got to fight. It was the only thing I could think about, and I hated it.
Yeah.
So after that, and it was euphoric afterwards.
Yeah.
Like to complete it, it was great. But I think I was done with that.
Didn't love it.
I really didn't like that. And my coach was saying I think he was disappointed because he'd worked with me a lot, and I did have a good jab because I'm quite long, and I had a strong jab, and he felt that I could have done better and gone on to actually do some proper fights. Yeah. But mentally, I just couldn't do it, and I think I felt
just that kind of anxiety, the feeling that anxiety took over. Yeah.
This is still when I'm drinking as well, so it hadn't really, didn't really sort of weigh up that it's anxiety. I just felt like I don't like this. Yeah. So
got a bit of me.
Yeah. Okay. And I didn't mind getting smacked. That's the thing. It was getting pumped. I don't know. It's just the thought of it. Yeah. Just the nerves.
Is it you think more about losing or getting embarrassed or maybe not looking?
Yeah, maybe it's. I think getting knocked out in front of people.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. But actually getting hit, I didn't mind getting hit. I've got quite a hard head, and my nose is so big anyway. It doesn't matter. You get it. I mean, it's like yours.
Yeah. Fuck off. We're different leagues, mate. I've got a big nose, but that thing.
Yeah, it's a big old hooter, isn't it? I sparred with Muhammad Al Fayed's bodyguard.
Really?
Yeah, I did six rounds. When this is when they were really working on me, they wanted me to go into cruiserweight, and start fighting. and he was really confident with me because I think I was in that ADHD. I had locked onto it and I did love it, and I trained a lot and a lot and a lot. And I sparred with this guy. I was 15.5 stone, maybe 16 stone. And this guy must have been 19 stone. Yeah. Muhammad Al-Fayed's bodyguard. He wasn't as fit as me, but every one of his crosses just breached my guard and popped my nose. And I lasted the 6 rounds, and it was good. And he was gassed, and I was gassed, but I was definitely the more clarity than him. I didn't hurt him. Whereas he really hurt me.
Was he a nasty bugger?
No, he was a good guy. Good guy. He was there to spar, shake hands.
Yeah.
He just had a very, very. It was like 22, 23, something like that. So you are a man by law, but you still haven't quite got that old man strength. Whereas he was a 33, 35-year-old with a couple of stone on me, and he was just much more powerful.
Yeah.
And just pushed just compromised my nose repeatedly, so it was not exactly small, is it? So there's
a lot of claret to come out of that thing.
Yeah. So I slowly kind of just faded away from the boxing after that. Did a couple of touch rugby things down. A&F were doing some touch rugby, and it must have been around the time that we had moved to Aldershot. So I met my wife in London. We moved to London. We were renting in Chiswick, but
very nice.
It is nice, but you can't buy a house in Chiswick when you haven't got a deposit. So we came back to Aldershot, and I was one of the lucky ones because we got a Northern Rock mortgage, 0%, so 100% mortgage through Northern Rock at the end of 2008. Now, I don't know if you remember, that was a time that it all went.
Yeah.
If I'd been a month later, I wouldn't have had it. And it was that 100% mortgage with Northern Rock that got us onto the property ladder because I had nothing. No one's giving me anything, and that's how we got on to the property ladder. Thank God, and away we went. But we had to go to Aldershot to do it. That's how I got into touch. Went down, did a bit of touch, flew out to ask her old man permission because she's South African.
Yeah.
She wanted me to meet her family, and I had to ask his permission to put a ring on her. And that's another story where he showed me his guns. Like literally, I land, tattoos.
Yeah.
He looks at me, and I see him. He just looks at my legs and he looks at my arms, and then he looks away. Doesn't even look at me. Like the face, I'm like, this is going to be a tough divorce.
Yeah.
Because she told me about him.
I was going to say you've been pre-warned. They're like hard-nosed country, South Africa.
He was raised Afrikaans. I still, to this day, don't know if he's Afrikaans or English. I think he is born English, raised Afrikaans.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So basically, he's Afrikaans.
Yeah. So a country boy.
Yeah, from Gauteng, which is Pretoria, Joburg. In old speak, it's the Northern Transvaal.
Right.
So up by Voortrekker Monument, which is big part of the Afrikaans movement.
Right.
So yeah, he is one of those.
Yeah.
Not too keen on the English.
Yes. Let's see why.
Yeah. So the car journey was fine. We get to his house. He takes me upstairs. The first thing he does is he shows me a shotgun. He shows me a pistol. He shows me a kosh, which is a thing for
whacking stick.
And a shambok, which is almost like it's a long bit of hide. It's like a whip. And yeah, I can swear on this.
Yeah, so what?
He said, "If you fuck with my daughter, I will kill you."
But you know he's real when he says that. Yeah. Like that's not.
Well, he's just showing me his guns.
Yeah, but I've got some guns for like hunting. I'm going to scare you.
Yeah.
From meeting him in that brief moment, he means that.
Yeah, he was going to. Yeah, fully.
Oh yeah.
But I was punching above my weight, so I was never going to mess with his daughter.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to clarify again, for the record, she came on to me first.
Yes.
Let's just make sure that doesn't get cut.
That stays in.
Okay. Good. So he then took me that trip out there. He took me to Blue Bulls versus Waratahs in the Super 14s.
Yeah.
At Loftus Versfeld, and which is the Blue Bulls.
Yeah.
Home ground in Pretoria.
Victor Matfield.
Yeah, So this is Victor Matfield, Pierre Spies. Oh crikey! What was the number 10? He just literally only just retired at the age of 40.
Stain, yeah.
Mornay Stain.
Mornay Stain, Francois Stain.
Mornay Stain. Mornay Stain.
Yeah.
So I saw all them.
Nice.
The Bulls won, which meant for a good exit because the Afrikaners were happy.
Yeah. Keep them happy.
Yeah.
At all costs.
Yeah. And that was it. So when we got back, I then went down and again the touch tournament was on. I just said to the guy, "How do I get involved?" Like, because I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite amusing that just turn up. Just turn up. And I didn't think, right, right, it's like that, is it? I kind of thought, oh, okay, cool, I'll just turn up. So I just turned up and trained with them. Interestingly, I was in the starting 15 for the first game of that season. Again, alarm bells should have rung, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I had a very similar story with ANF actually, because again, not as much detail as that, but I hadn't played rugby before and I just moved to the area from Woking.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to do something around the area that's, going to get me involved a bit more locally rather than travelling to work all the time. And I sent him a message or whatever and said, look, I don't really know what I'm doing here. How do I get involved? And he just said to me, just turn up, mate. It starts with that. You got to be here. Just come down.
Have you got 2 hands, 2 feet, pair of shorts, you'll be fine. Yeah, you're in the first 15.
Yeah. It's not that sort of club, mate. You don't worry about anything.
Yeah, don't need to do a sports CV or anything like that.
I didn't start in the first team though. I had a few games with the twos, which was an experience.
That's embarrassing.
An experience, yeah.
I never played for the twos at A&O.
Did you not?
No.
Oh, I did.
That's because they didn't have a twos team.
Yeah, probably.
They must have done. If I was there when you started, did they have a twos team? That'd be Woody in that lot.
Correct.
Oh,
correct.
Really?
Yes. So I played for the less able part of the less able league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not quite. They weren't wearing red shorts. You know the gold shorts and the red shorts. And I'm over 80 years old. Don't tackle me.
I don't know where they got this. They picked these people up from the zombie apocalypse, and that's the kind of people that we were playing against.
Yeah.
And that was my introduction to rugby. But so when you went to South Africa and had that sort of
that was
your initiation into it.
It wasn't. It was like it was an opportunity for me, I think, to do something. I wasn't trying to make my soon-to-be father-in-law proud, but I wanted to, because when I was out there, I spent more time the first time I went out there, I spent more time with him than I did her.
Yeah.
I'd go to work with him. Like, I would carry his tools. He ran a balustrade company.
Right.
And so we'd get up, and every day I'd go out with him in a bucket.
How old are you at this point?
Oh, it must have been 29, 28.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm out there. She's talking to her mum and seeing her family and that. And it's like, no, I'll go out. And so I was helping him with his tools and that. I did some stuff in Soweto, actually. That was quite fun.
Wow, okay.
It's crazy. They this factory where they bring blind people in to assemble cardboard boxes for Nando's. So they come in flat packed. And because it's quite a basic skill with your hands, and you can do it without having sight.
Yeah.
They made it as a sort of charity thing, so blind people can do it and they can earn some cash and they can generate revenue, etc.
Anyway, you were in there folding boxes?
No. Because the problem with the crime in South Africa is that place got done over, and you think, geez, really? Like, come on then. But it's a different country, and it's a different world.
Different world.
Anyway, they broke the gate. They smashed a load of doors in. So one of the jobs we did was going around and fixing all that, making safe the gate, fixing the doors, painting. So that was kind of cool doing that in Soweto. Did a load of stuff. But that's back to rugby. The original question about an hour ago. Yeah. It was something that he loved, and I wanted to connect to it in a way that I could talk to him.
Yeah.
So I tried it, and like, I hated the boxing because of the mental thing, but I did love the physicality.
Yeah, okay.
And rugby is a way to have the physicality but share it with others.
Right.
And then, a few games into it, that changing room, it's like with the lads before, but more importantly, after the game.
Yeah.
When you've survived, for me, it was about survival.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really care. I don't like getting nilled.
No one.
But I don't mind it if it's like, you're 27, 15. All right, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really care. shouldn't say that. You should play to win. But actually, it's about, did I put in some shots? Did someone put a shot on me? Go in and just feel sore.
There is that feeling, isn't it?
I'm addicted to that. That's why I still play with the vets. Because I absolutely love that.
See, I love that feeling that you're talking about. Yeah. There was nothing better than going out and I went up the levels a little bit. I never played at a good standard, but I played at a better standard, And it becomes more results sort of based as you get higher up. And I quite like that anyway. I don't like to lose and sort of thing. But that feeling is always what I wanted.
Yeah.
That feeling of I fucking had a good old a good go of it and a good hit out and stuff like that. But I just don't like the event of it all now. I don't like the training because you get up there and it's like you have to fucking get ready and all this time. It takes up such a huge portion of your life. Now I can't be bothered. Yeah. I can't be bothered to do that and invest all of that.
No, it's a lot. It is a lot.
Just to get that feeling of being sore.
Which is why vets is great, because you don't do any of that. You just literally rock up, play. And then you get that what you want. So I am enjoying the vets down at Farnham at the moment. I went to Camberley and trained with the senior squad for a few years and had some games with the twos. They're
a good club, Camberley.
They are, they're doing very well. They played Guernsey. They were on that two side. They came over because they wanted to play, so they send their two. So I played quite a few national twos teams.
Yeah,
who have always got, and they're weird because they all have some lads who are first team players.
Yeah,
but they'll also have some lads that are just there for the twos.
Yeah.
So they were some of the hardest games. I remember playing Havant. No, not Havant. Yeah, I played Havant. Played Havant first in a senior squad warm-up game. That was probably the highest.
Yeah.
So a couple of those type games where I've really felt what that level's like, and it's horrible.
Different, isn't it? Yeah. You want to jump down the levels. See, this is the thing that
it's just a speed between breakdown.
Yeah. I always have this conversation about potentially going back and playing again. Is that I'd have to go down the level to.
How old are you?
32 now.
You're not far off vets. Come on and play vets, mate.
Yeah. Well, I would do that but I still like to be competitive. I've still got a massive.
You can be competitive. Just don't expect everyone else to be.
That's the problem. That's where I struggle.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to be competitive and I want to enjoy the competitiveness and I want to win. Yeah. But I don't want the intensity of everything else.
No. Okay. All right. Yeah. So crikey.
That's how you got into rugby.
That's how I got into rugby. Yeah. So that's how I did it, and it was about getting fit. The boxing was about getting fit so I could be faster at drums. Didn't really like the boxing, so transition to rugby. And around the time that we transitioned to rugby was around the time that the band split up, and we realised that scene wasn't for us anymore. Everyone other than the bass player were all working in trades.
Yeah.
So I was sparking at the time. Lee had just come out of the military and he was a gas engineer. Rich was plastering. Steve was tiling. He changed that eventually. He does something else now. But we were all working lads. Mortgages. And a couple of us have kids.
Yeah.
And we're touring around in a van, using our work vans and driving around to these gigs to play metal shows where you're generally, and this is around the 2006, 2007, so MySpace is a thing, but really we were still in the printing CDs and printing t-shirts and that type of thing. And actually it was a real big transition from that CD thing into young kids, and I was blown away. I thought I was a good drummer. I won't lie, I was good.
Yeah.
And I can hold my own, but I was being exposed to another level, and these kids were unbelievable musicians, unbelievably talented. But the thing that they had, more than anything else, was they would quite happily sleep on a park bench, eat a packet of crisps for a week, and drive around in a crappy old van.
Just
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was getting closer to 30 years old. I had a mortgage. I had to go to work, and it just, I don't know. It was just like
you had to basically give up chasing the dream because you had another reality.
I think the dream, and I think the dream, chasing the dream was the fun part. So in the early days, when you're dreaming about the big things and you're getting some of the accolades. So we got demo of the month in Metal Hammer. The guy that signed Slipknot is called Monty Connor. He was the main A&R guy at Roadrunner Records. He signed Slipknot. He heard our demo, and I've got the email somewhere. I printed it out where he paid kudos to our demo track, specifically the drums. He said something like, said the drummer was incredible. What amazing fills! And I've had the guy that signed Slipknot say, "You're a good drummer."
Yeah.
But we couldn't find a vocalist for so many years, and then by the time we did find a vocalist, eventually, the industry had completely changed. It was no longer pumping out CDs. It's all online. There's hundreds of
the competition's just so broad as well.
And back to the ADHD, I was a difficult person. I was so obsessed with the band, our band.
What was your band called, sorry?
Breed Apart.
Breed Apart.
Yeah. I was obsessed with it that I was not very personable to others. And actually a big part of the scene is you support everyone. Everyone supports everyone else. I wasn't too good at that.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, I think a lot of the downfall of, and I've said this to the lads, and they go, "No, shut up, Alex. We were all just as bad." And it's like, I get what you're saying, but I was bad. Like we were terrible to the other bands. Like.
Okay, yeah. You weren't making friends in the industry.
No. Rich was really good because he worked in a guitar shop and he did a lot of stuff like that. He was good with that, but I was terrible.
Right. Okay.
So the golden rule, if I could rewind time, would be keep me away from everyone.
Not just you be nicer.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, that's going to say, that just means you adjust your attitude towards some people rather than just fucking put you in a pen.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, Alex. Now back to the van now.
Yeah.
Come on, we're going to do the talking. Let the grown-ups do the talking, and you can go and sit in the van.
Yeah.
And you're there like a flipping rabid bulldog, just barking at people.
But it wasn't like that. It wasn't. Yeah. See, I wasn't a violent person. Far from it. I just had a terrible mouth on me.
Right. Okay.
I had a terrible mouth.
Unfriendly.
Yeah. Unfriendly. 6'3", skinhead, tattoos.
You've got a big lump then as well.
Yeah, that was when I was really fat. I was 115 kilos.
Yeah.
So I'm 98 now. I was 115 kilos back then. And I was wondering why I wasn't that fast with the drums.
Big fat bloke just sweating behind the
drums. A bit of weight, fella.
Yeah.
But that was it. And then
you did quite well with it though, didn't you? Like you say, not just that being recognised by the guy that signed Slipknot and getting your sort of demo of the month and this sort of thing.
We were
popular.
Yeah, well, we were popular
on a smaller scale.
We were popular within the metal scene locally, so between where we are, Fleet, Guildford, London.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a crew and a following, and we Bloodstock Festival. I played the Clapham Grand. I played London Underworld a few times. There was a big American band back in the day called Amen. We supported them. There was another big band from around here called Akakoka. We supported them. And we supported that nutty fella from the Australian band called the Berserker. We supported them.
Berserker?
Yeah. All really bad.
Sorry, one second.
That's all right. What's going on?
Nothing.
Yeah, supported. So supported a few. And then Stamping Ground. They were like the number one hardcore band in the UK. Their bass player was he was a big editor in one of the magazines. Stamping Ground ended up, their last record they recorded with some guy, I think his name's Andy Sneap. He was like the number one metal producer. He probably still is, I don't know. I don't really follow the scene anymore. But Stamping Ground were the band. And they were coming to play in Aldershot at the West End Centre. And when we found out, we were just on the guy that runs it. Come on, you know that this is our gig. You've got to put us on support, and he did. And that was the best. Like that was the best feeling that I think I've ever had with that band, knowing that we're going to support Stamping Ground. Yeah, at our home gig. Venue, and like we smashed it. They smashed it. it was great. And then after that, it all became a little bit like, it's not about the dream. When you're dreaming about it, you know, being famous and all the good stuff that you think you're going to get with being a musician, it is fun, it is. But then when you start to see what the industry's about, and yeah, we all fell out of love with it.
Yeah,
and it wasn't going to pay the mortgage.
All the politics that went along with it. It was more of a fight than actually being able to enjoy
just horrible
musician.
You know, I say I was a horrible person. I was, but there's plenty of horrible people in the industry that are there just to screw over bands.
Yeah, okay.
And there's no money in it. There is no money in it. If you, I mean, how do metal bands make money these days? I've no idea.
Really?
No idea. No idea.
I mean, I don't have an idea either because I wouldn't listen to it.
No, exactly.
My fucking taste. So
No,
you gave me a Breed Apart CD, and although it was very impressive,
yeah, you don't listen to it.
it's not my bag. No way.
My mate who I train with, it's the rule is I can put on whatever I want except for that metal shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not putting that on.
Yeah, that screamo bollocks.
Yeah, it's rubbish. And I'm like, what is it about you don't like? Hate singing. Man, that's generally the comment. It's like they hate the singing.
Yeah.
But it's, and as much as I kind of get where they're coming from, it's like, but that's the singing that goes with that type of music.
Yeah, exactly. That is the music.
Yeah, that's you can't like. I would hate it if you didn't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So that was it. That was the band, and now we just muck around as and when.
Yeah. But still like to do it.
Still play guitar more than play drums now.
Yeah. Enjoy guitar more.
Love the guitar.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big Slash fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Guns N' Roses, all that sort of Joe Bonamassa and Anderton's music in Guildford. Like they're doing loads of stuff. Like they've gone massive on social media, and so they've got videos. And I'm just Geek Squad like on all these videos.
You gave me a little play there though. You're very good.
Thank you.
You're very good. You're very good little player.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So that was it. And then I don't know what else you want to know. Like we got the old PhD.
No, one thing that we are missing that I do want to talk about.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable with talking about it, obviously, is you're actually a cancer survivor.
Yeah. I am a cancer survivor. That technically is factually correct. Yeah. So in 2012, when I was still drinking.
And you were still playing rugby at this point, weren't we?
Yeah.
You were at Aldershot Fleet then?
I was at Aldershot Fleet then. 2012. Started seeing blood in the toilet after I'd done number 2s.
Yeah.
You see it once, you think, oh.
At this point, sorry, you're quite an unhealthy. You're still a big lad.
115.
Yeah.
Heaviest I've been. I think I was close on 18 stone.
Right.
But could still play rugby.
Yeah.
Could still run 10k in an hour, which is
good going.
It's slow. But it's not really slow.
Yeah. And
still went to the gym. So I was in this false
sense of security.
Yeah, I had it. Yeah, I felt I was. Yeah, I'm a bit fat, or because I'm also tall, so I didn't look like Big Derby.
Yeah.
I now have seen some pictures, and I'm like, geez, you are actually fat. You had a beer gut, but I didn't see it. Didn't see it back then. So anyway, and then there was this one night. I think I got alcohol poisoning, and I put the blood down to that. And then, because I remember, the wife was also saying, every time I said to her about blood, I tell her everything. I said about blood. She went, you had the alcohol poison, you've probably done something there. But it kept persisting for, I don't know, until I first see it. I probably started to see it in the details, you know what details there.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough time.
I don't know, probably summer.
Right.
Probably around the summertime. I went to the GP. I ended up going to the GP. It's like, this keeps coming. It doesn't feel right.
Details of how long's that time frame? Like 3 months? 2 weeks?
Because I'm maybe a month.
Right, okay.
Maybe
month
a month,
to 6 weeks?
Month to 6 weeks before I got the first GP appointment. Because I'm really paranoid about stuff like that. On my 30th birthday, so I was 31 when it happened. On my 30th birthday, I made a point of getting Bupa healthcare, like paid for it myself, because I just had this feeling I needed it.
Right. Okay.
Because I was paranoid that I was susceptible to cancer. And I think, again, the ADHD and the anxiety and stuff like that, I overthink things. And so, anyway, it was the best thing I ever did. So, back into 2012.
Went to the GP.
Went to the GP, blood test, off you go. Nothing came of it, but the blood kept coming.
Right.
So I phoned them up and went, what's going on? I had the blood test. And they went, yeah, nothing in the blood test, you're good. I went, well, the blood's still coming.
Quite a lot of blood, or?
Yeah, it was different, right?
Like,
you know,
say when?
Well,
There's like a puddle.
Oh, Christ. No, because it's different. And I'll tell you why I can't do it that way. It's, you know, if it's getting a bit graphic, but you've got to do it to make people aware. If you sometimes have say you've had you've hurt yourself and you've taken some codeine and it bungs you up and you get a really big poo and it hurts to push. Sometimes you get something called a fissure on your hoop, and that gives you a bit of blood.
Right.
But that blood is bright red, like when you cut your arm.
Yeah.
This blood that I was seeing in my poo was not bright red. It was very dark, mucusy, and it was like almost like it was just round the poo.
Okay.
It wasn't like
kind of like Venom from Spider-Man.
Yeah. I've not seen the Spider-Man, but I think I know what you mean. It was just like slime.
Yeah.
Like a bloody slime that was wrapped all the way around the poo. And I was like, that's not come from my hoop. It's obvious that's come
that's
from
not
further
a
up.
blood vessel.
Yes, that's come from further up.
Yeah.
Because that's been up there for a while, been mixing with the stool. Move on, he said. But you got to know these things.
No, you're right.
So I knew there was something wrong. Still thought it could be hemorrhoids, could be something up there.
Yeah.
It's just not coming from the hoop. So I went back to the GP and said, there's something wrong with this. By the way, but I've got private health. Oh, private, have you? No, why didn't you say? Type of thing. Off I went.
Yeah.
Got colonoscopied. That was the most painful thing I'd ever been through. Because I didn't get sedation. Because it's the first one, I didn't know what it was, just a camera bum.
Yeah.
And he went, no, you'll be fine. But if you think about...
How big's the camera, say when?
Oh, there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes up. And before I had my operation, when they cut the colon out, if you can visualise the picture of the colon, like you go from your hoop, rectum, and then it bends over. I think that's called the sigmoid, and it goes over like that, then down, round, and up. It was this bit where it goes up and over. Oh, it was so painful because they blow you up with air.
Yeah.
To navigate around. It was agony. It was like severe stomach cramps. Anyway, he's going blah 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 blah. I can't really remember much about it. Pulled it out. I went back to the thing, the ward.
Yeah.
And he came back and said, he didn't say the cancer.
Yeah.
He didn't say tumour. He just said there's something up there, and you need to see someone tomorrow.
Right.
It's pretty serious, but he didn't use the words.
Terrifying.
Yeah,
That's terrifying.
It was terrifying. My dad picked me up. I was in absolute shit state. Driving home, I just needed to see my wife.
Yeah.
As much as my dad being there was a good thing, I just needed my wife. Broke down, was a wreck. Went to that was Clare Park. Went to Frimley the next day. Saw the colorectal surgeon, Sarah Burton. She's an absolute angel.
Yeah.
I called her the devil on the first day.
Okay.
Because she ended up being the one that told me, you have a tumour, you have cancer.
Yeah. Colon cancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she also, on the exact same day, CT scanned me because she could see I was in a bad way. I was not dealing with the news too well. So she put me into a CT scan, made me wait, and then said, "Good news, or bad news, you've got a tumour in your colon. Good news, it's nowhere else. We'll whip it out." That was on. So I had my colonoscopy on the 28th of September. I was told by her on the 29th of September, the CT scan.
Yeah.
On October the 16th, she cut out about that much of my colon.
Fucking hell.
Keyhole.
That much.
Yeah, that much. Keyhole.
Fuck.
So they're going through your belly. They do an incision through your belly button. One there, one there. And then, so one's for the camera, one's for the tools, and one's to blow.
Right, okay, yeah. Create space.
They inflate you like a balloon so they can work around it. So she inflated me like a balloon, And then I gave like a cesarean scar at the bottom where I gave birth to my rotten colon.
Yeah.
That was October the 16th, 2012. On the 17th, I then recovered. I was in the hospital for like 3 or 4 days. I went home, and she said, "We'll send it off to pathology, test it." So they took out that bit and 18 lymph nodes as a part of it.
Right.
Brought it back, and 2 weeks after that, I went to see it. She went, "It wasn't in any lymph nodes. You're effectively clear." Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. So I essentially had cancer for a month.
Right. Is that because you got it early enough? Is that what they said?
So. But this is the thing. This is what she said. She couldn't. What no one can tell you is when that thing started to grow.
Right.
It might have been in me for years. It might have started 6 months. Who knows? What they can't say is how long it's been in there for. But for the last 10 years, I've been CT scanned, colonoscopied, repeat. But I say I had cancer for a month, and technically that's true, but it lives with me every day now, because anything that I feel, I've had brain scans, I've had barium swallows, I've had CT scans, I've had colonoscopies, I've had prostate checks, because I'm paranoid.
Yeah.
Absolutely paranoid about it.
Just in case it is, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm always very apologetic, saying, "Look, I'm sorry, I'm sure it's nothing, but like, what if? And I can't ever be like to that point where you go, "Wow, mate, I'm just going to ignore it," because the day I ignore it will be the day it is something.
Yeah.
But no, 10 years, 11 years clear. No, where are we now? 2024. I'll be 12 years clear this year.
12 years.
12 years clear this year. Yeah.
Mega, what a feeling.
Yeah, it's good.
But like you say, that is still present with
you live with it. Yeah, you live with it.
Is it literally to the point of, I feel that? That's been going on for a few weeks. Like, I better get it checked out.
A couple of days.
Right, okay.
And it's not muscular. If it's muscular, I can write off because I'm forever in pain through gym and training. I know when I've got DOMs, so I'm fine with those.
Yeah.
It's when it's deeper than that. So the other day I had I've still kind of got it a little bit. This is pain down the centre here, and
centre of your stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went in for a scan. She was like, "It's nothing. You haven't got cancer."
Yeah.
I went, yeah, but what is this? And she went, "Well, we'll do barium swallow, ultrasound." We did an ultrasound, and it found that, this is disgusting, but they say I've got sludge in my bile duct. No, gallbladder.
Right.
But if you scan 90% of people in the street would have that.
Yeah.
That might be it. But they also found a small hernia in my belly button. But she thinks that's when they operated on me.
I was going to say, it makes sense.
So maybe it's that. So, but either way, she's just said, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah. But it is a present it's a present fear that you still have, even though you're 12 years clear.
Yeah.
It's still something that is there.
When something comes, like, I don't think about it every day, but if something niggles, and it's been niggling me for 2 or 3 days, I start to I go on Dr. Google.
Yeah. Worst thing you could do.
Yeah, best advice, don't go on Dr. Google. The best advice is, I mean, if it's clear and obvious that there's something wrong, like you are pooing blood, go and get a GP and tell them, get a camera up there.
Yeah.
If it's something like niggly, like cough, wait 3 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
If it is persistent after 3 weeks, go get it checked.
It's the best thing you can do.
Check your sack.
Yeah.
It's easy, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I've had that. I checked my sack and had a little lump.
Yeah, no, I've got a lump in the sack.
Yeah, I got a lump.
Oh, we're getting into detail now.
Yeah,
but I had that scan. Apparently, it's just a cyst. Don't
same. But
apparently, it's a good looking left testicle. He said.
He said that.
He said that to me whilst he had my cock in his hand, and he was. I don't know, whatever that tool was.
Yeah, I actually had pretty horrible experience. Well, I say horrible. That's a bit dramatic. It's not really. I got the fear because check this out.
A lump.
Yeah.
Yes. Frightening.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And I was terrified, so I went to the GP, and then they had a feel there, and then I got sent for a scan, which was ultrasound scan.
Yeah.
And
did you have a chaperone?
No.
All right. So I found that weird. I'm a geezer, and the guy scanning my ball sack was a geezer.
Yeah.
But I had a female chaperone stand outside the curtain. I think it's a security thing to make sure he doesn't slip a digit while we're doing it. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
I hope that's not why she's there.
I don't know why she's there.
But when I got in there, the guy, I went NHS, shout out to him, they're great, but he wasn't the most friendly of fellas. It was kind of, this was very routine.
Rough and ready, was it?
It was very routine for him, and it was a frightening experience for me. And I didn't really know what to expect or anything. No. And he just gave it, jump up on the bed, drop your trousers. Yeah. And so I drop trowel, jump on the thing. He gives me a bit of paper towel. He says, hold your penis up with this. So hold my penis up with this. Yeah. And
it's funny because they call it penis.
Yeah, that throws you off. Yeah, that throws you off because you don't expect it to be called that. Just hold your dick up.
Just dick
that's
up.
fine.
Yeah. It'd be a little bit easier actually. I think exactly. Maybe you could have that chat.
When you did the colonoscopy, did they say don't clench or anything like
that? No. After the first one, the guy that did the first one, he never did it again. After I was diagnosed, Sarah Burton, my consultant, absolutely, she'd done everything ever since. And she knew how traumatic it was, so she's like, sedation? I'm like, yes please. Yeah. So she just sedates, and I just not knowing
what's going on. See, mine wasn't like that. I was very present, and granted, it was just a check. So he said, this is going to be cold, squirted the jelly and stuff, and then does the ultrasound. Basically, zero eye contact, which I quite appreciated at that point.
You don't have eye contact.
And, he's looking around and stuff, and he's like, oh, no, you're all good, everything's fine, just assist or whatever, keep an eye on it, blah, 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 blah. And then the lack of eye contact continued when he got a handful of tissue, put it on my lap, and said, "Clean yourself up." Yeah.
He's not going to do it for you. He's not.
No, I don't want him to do it for me. But everything's fine. We're all done here. I'll leave some tissue here. You can sort of,
clean yourself up,
clean things up, and get yourself ready. Yeah. I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know exactly that.
But
tell you what though.
Go on.
After a colonoscopy, it's exactly the same, except the jelly is up your bum hole, and you're being told to clean yourself up.
Yeah,
you've literally you've got to wipe your bum.
It was cheap paper towel as well.
Blue roll.
Paper towel.
You literally got to wipe your bum with blue roll, in fetal position. It's not very manly feeling, but you've got to do these things to stay alive.
And I've got to say that one thing, because when you came, because we were playing rugby together, and we weren't close at that point, I don't think. We didn't really know each other that well.
No.
And you kind of disappeared. You weren't really around at the rugby club.
No. What, with the cancer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember asking Howard, shout out Big Howie, but I was like, where's he gone? What's wrong with him? And Howard at that point knew, but...
I think he was the only one I told, actually. I only told Howard.
And he was like, it's just not around, just taking a bit of time off or whatever. And I saw you running, I think, because we lived in the same sort of neighbourhood. I saw you running.
I remember that.
Yeah, in your Portsmouth shirt. And I was thinking, there he is, he's fine.
Yeah.
And
that was after the op. So that must have been around January where I was recovering. So I was doing walking and I started running. Yeah, and then I remember that.
Remember when you came back and we found out we gave you quite an insensitive nickname?
Semicolon.
Yeah, because that's half of it cut out. Yeah. That must have helped.
Oh yeah,
Did you kind of know that when you were coming back, with all your, I know your other pals and stuff as well,
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's my problem was when I had it, when I was diagnosed and that thing was inside me, I didn't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to it at anyone. And so I don't even think I told Howard that I had it. I told Howard, it was a Tuesday night training, and he said, we'll see you Thursday. I went, well, I've got a scan tomorrow, so we'll see.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I said. And he looked at me funny, as if, what are you on about?
Yeah.
But that's what I said. And then I had the scan, and that was it. I was diagnosed, and I just went, hid, stayed inside, didn't want to talk to anyone. I went to work, had to carry on working because I was self-employed. But I was just in this. It was this haze, this weird, you almost feel like there's a air gap between your skin and your insides. You just don't feel yourself. But then afterwards, after getting the all clear, I'm jump straight back in, talk about it, tell anyone about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't
helped with the recovery in a sense.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, being called semicolon's better than you going to my funeral.
Yeah, yes, that's a good point.
So
it's a good point.
Much prefer that.
Yeah,
actually, and it's quite witty.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I didn't think of it, obviously. It's far too smart for me
Yeah.
to be making that up, but it's good nonetheless.
Yeah, semicolon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been going for quite a while.
Have we? How long have we going?
Yeah, we've been going for an hour and a half.
Have we? Oh.
You want to talk about doctorate?
The PhD?
Yes. You're quite proud of it, aren't you? To be fair, you've gone from, a little grot bag who could barely hold down a job,
Yeah.
and you're now a doctor, technically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
not technically, you are a doctor.
I am a
Just
doctor.
not a medical one.
It's the ADHD again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that all starts from work. So I was good at being a Sparky, and I went up to the airport in 2006. Did 6 months at Heathrow chasing, because that was the big major project that was going on around then, and Sparkies were getting an extra £4 an hour because it was called an MPA, major projects allowance.
Right.
So rather than getting £14 an hour back then, you on £18 an hour. And to like a young Sparky, that was a lot of cash. That was a lot of cash. So I went up there for 6 months, but it was so bad. It was boring.
Yeah. Running cables.
Not even. I didn't even touch. Did I touch cables? I'm not sure I touched cables. So I went from being like proper Sparky, testing, inspecting fuse boards, like doing live working. Not live working, but Sparkies will kill me for saying that. You're not allowed to do live working, but isolating live and doing actual sort of proper sparking and fault finding. Went up to the airport. I have to drive around the M25 in the morning, park up in one of the car parks by the bus station. You then get bussed round, you get scanned onto the bus through the compound, scanned again once you go through the compound, then you walk up to apron, which is basically ground floor of the Terminal 5. And where you're scanning there, that's when the clock starts. So all that crap you've just done, you're not on the clock. That's on you, that's on your time. And then when you scan out of apron, that's when the clock stops.
Yeah.
So the idea was to do 10-hour days. So scan into apron and 10 hours later scan out of apron, so you're on 180 a day, sparking. But then you've got to think, that's an hour and a half on a good day around the M25, both ways. So really I was doing 16-hour days, and the work was just like metal munching, putting up containment, tray, basket, stuff like that. And it just it was not stimulating me to the point that the days were going so slow. Yeah. So then I was dropping from 10 hours to 8 hours, and then I was taking days off, and then I was like, there's no point. There's no point. I'm not prepared to do 5 days a week, 10 hours a day. And there were lads there that were doing 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day, and they were creaming it in, but they were happy with the monotony. They didn't mind just and like all the politics of it is don't work too fast. Chaos equals cash. Yeah. And it's, what do you mean? So a lot of the time, like you're just kicking around, just sitting in a room chatting. And I met a lot of really, really top, decent guys up there, but I wasn't getting the stimulation I needed. So I came back out of that and went into a company that was working in the water industry, and I got into control systems. And I would see him on the laptop, think, what's that? I want to bear that. That looks much better. The Hollywood job. Rocking up to site, sitting at a chair table, doing stuff on a laptop. So I ended up getting into that, doing that. Then I'd see commissioning engineers, and it was always this thing that commission engineers, like what the day rate they were on was ridiculous. Yeah. And most of the time I thought these guys are like, no disrespect to them, but they're not the brightest. Right. But they're on double what I'm on. Yeah. I want a bit of that. It's always me like, what's next? What's next?
Yeah,
what can I do next? What can I do next?
Chasing the step up.
As I completed my degree, one of the lecturers said, what are you doing next, Alex? And I was like, well, I think I need to do an MBA, don't I? Because again, no career advice. Yeah. I just assumed that I'd need an MBA
to get to the next step.
To get to the next step. Project management, program management, whatever. And he went, you're an engineer, why do you want to do that? You should do a PhD. And I went,
too much.
That's too much, isn't it? Like, I can't do that. He went, of course you can.
Planted the seed.
He's planted the seed, and the ADHD brain has
just lapped it up.
Literally clamped down on it. Like, wouldn't it be cool to be called doctor? That's got to be the worst. If there's anyone listening to this, and I doubt there is, but if there is anyone, sorry, that's more on me than it is on you. But don't do a PhD just to put doctor on your bank card.
Yeah.
Jeez. So ended up signing up for a PhD. Yeah. And 8 years part time
Fucking hell.
at Brunel, and I did it, and I got it, and it mentally, like, along with the anxiety disorder and a bit of, they say I've got depression. I'm not sure if I have. Maybe I have. I definitely had depressive periods
Doing that.
That sort of that pressure over the top of me, and some of the anxiety attacks. But you know, I still have those today, and the PhD's done. So it was huge pressure on me. But it got to a point where I'd gone so far with it, and I remember a conversation with a chap. I won't name him. He heard that. You doing a PhD? I went, yeah. He went, oh no, loads of people do that. They don't finish them.
Got it.
And I was like,
Supportive.
yes, like, all right, tough. And it was an absolute flat refusal to ever be in a position where someone says, "Oh, Alex, how's your PhD going?" And me to say, "I didn't do it," and for them to say, "Didn't think you would."
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh, that would hurt.
nah, yeah, and that it was that alone that got me through it.
Really?
Yeah.
Was the sacrifice worth the reward?
I mean, me having a PhD hasn't got me a new job.
No.
I think the biggest reward in having that PhD was seeing how proud my mum and dad were,
Right.
and repaying them
Yeah.
for the misery I caused being the little ADHD twat that I was.
Yeah. The bastard child.
Yeah. How much of a nightmare I had been as a child and a young adolescent, and some of the pain that I'd caused them, to be able to turn it around and have them there at my ceremony where I was announced as Dr. Gray. I feel like I've maybe paid a little bit of that misery, but you know, put it to bed. So yes, for that alone, it's worth it. Yeah. From a career perspective, I don't know. Yeah, if I want to go teach, which I don't.
Yeah.
Or consulting when I'm old and.
Well, they say those who can't do teach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I like to think I still can do.
No offence to any teachers.
No. Well, no.
You're great.
Yeah. Not all of them.
No,
Some of them are terrible.
Some of them feel right.
Yeah. Yeah. But so yeah. So it was worth it for that to pay back my parents.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
That is. You horrible little bastard that you were to now Dr. Gray.
Yeah.
It's quite impressive, mate.
Yeah.
It is impressive.
Yeah. But anyone can do it. This is the thing. It's not, a PhD sounds big, but it's not. See, PhD is not exams. You know, it's like you have to just find something that you want to. Novel. It's got to be novel. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to contribute to the body of knowledge? Like, what are you going to find that no one else has ever found?
Yeah, okay.
And you know, there are structures, and you've got to do a lot of writing. You've got to do a lot of writing, and you've got to demonstrate that you haven't just made it up.
Yeah, of course.
You've got to demonstrate that you've reviewed and you've read literature, and you can prove beyond all reasonable doubt that, you know, there's nothing already out there, or that there are things similar to it, but they have these failures, and your thing will address that. And it becomes like you start thinking, oh, I'm going to save the world, and you come down and really you haven't done anything, but you've contributed this tiny little bit to the learning and to the literature, and you write your thesis and you publish it, and you're done.
That's it.
Yeah,
Done.
Dusted.
So it's not actually that big deal. Anyone can do it.
Yeah, pretty much. No,
That's not true. That's not true.
You've just got to be prepared. You've just got to be prepared to sacrifice time. Understand that you won't have every weekend or evening to do things, and there will be times where you think, oh my goodness, why have I done this?
Yeah, but you can't have someone say to you,
you can't
you'd quit.
Don't ever put yourself in a position where someone goes, I didn't think you'd do that.
Bastards. Right, we'll wrap it up there, because I'm desperate to pee.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
All right.
Desperate. Thanks for coming on, mate. Thanks, mate.
Thank you, buddy.
Pleasure. Oh, very good, Alex. You're very, very good at talking, aren't you?
What's the matter with you? That went on for fucking a lot longer than I thought, that's for sure.
Did it?
Yeah.